Hello, and welcome to today's discussion. The questions we're going to be working on today are: is your project going to be a long-term success? And have you finalized all of your needed process work? I'm Dave Hibbs, and we're going to work on this as we move forward through this afternoon. Now, what are you going to get out of it? Your time is valuable. You've got a lot of things on your plate, I'm sure. Your managers, your directors, they're all on your back to get finished with this and get on to the next project. But you will gain from this discussion. You'll get peace of mind that you're going to walk away from this project and you're going to feel like there are no problems up in the air. You're not going to worry at night, oh, did I do this? Did I not do that? You're going to raise your customer sat numbers for this particular customer. And perhaps the best for you individually is your customer sat and your employer sat numbers being high as they will be. You may get a bonus out of this. So, why should you listen to me? I've been a project manager for about 20 years. I've worked on very large projects with project teams of upwards of 250 to 300 people. I've worked on very small projects of, there were two of us, me and the implementer. I worked for Fortune 500 companies, and I've had small business startup type projects. I got into process development about 5 years after I got into my project management career, and the way that happened was I was assigned a project. My employer, Fortune 500 company, was about to renew a contract with a smaller company. But the company was a very lucrative company. It was a large contract. Millions of dollars were involved. And the customer sat numbers were increasingly lower and lower over a period of months. So what happened? That was the project that I was given. I first of all went in and read the contract, identified all those items that would be deliverables, and identified those items that would be processes that would need to be implemented, and looked to see where the customer numbers were failing. What I found was in several of the areas, both tech support and operations support, it turned out to have very poor and outdated processes. There was no effective document review, document update. There hardly was even a document to be found when I originally went in. People had to struggle to find where the process documentation was. There was no process owner, and therefore no one to make sure that there was process review done and implemented to keep things up to speed, up to date, making sure everything got done as it should be done, even if there's changes to the environment. When I completed this project, customer sat went up, my employer sat went up, and we saved the contract, which was a $15 million contract, which indeed got renewed, and I made myself a small bonus. So everybody was happy. Now, process development begins during project planning. the deliverables. Can't read that. Your deliverables that will have ongoing activities must have a process and process documentation along with it. Are there any questions? Yes. Oh, you would like an example? Okay. Let's start off with we'll call it Company Z. Is upgrading their systems. To do that, customer Z must run a job, and we'll call it, for lack of anything else, A123. This job feeds another job down the line, which feeds another process down the line. But the key is job A123 has to be run. Now, how does this happen? The operator has to manually submit A123. I call it manual. All he has to do is hit start on their job submission forms. Internally, A123 runs, and the result is the output called OK 1, 2, 3. All right, now OK 1, 2, 3 has to run within 10 minutes of A123 because A123 is pulling in the latest input and sending out the latest output. So in another part of the system, OK123 then goes out and releases the OK for an injection molding machine to create 500 cartridges, plastic cartridges. Those cartridges are then boxed up, shipped down the line out to a manufacturer, and the manufacturer uses these cartridges to create a movie camera. Now, what if OK123 is run late? Has to be 10 minutes? What if the operator goes to lunch just before this finishes and operator 2 forgets to run it? What do you suppose happens? Well, first of all, the OK isn't given. Second, the 500 cartridges aren't made, and the 500 cameras, none of that gets made. So what's the result of this? Customer sat goes down. Employer sat goes down, and you are on the hot seat. Do you want to be on the hot seat? I don't think so. So, what do we have to put in place for this? Who do we have to tell to do what? We have to tell the operator to run A123, and we have to tell the operator to submit OK123. And the rest is automated. How can this be improved? That's where the review process comes in. That's where the development process comes in. That's where the process owner takes over. You're out of it, but you've put in place the implementation of the process review. Now, as it turns out, all of this can be automated with their automatic job submission, and then have an automated job that sends out the OK within minutes. And following the update of the process, customer sat goes way up. Now, you may be away from the project at this point, but you will have the, satisfaction to know that you've helped your customer, you've helped your bosses, and you have done an excellent job as a project manager and a process developer. Okay, we're going to take a break now. We're going to break up into groups of 4, and I want you to take one of the assigned projects that are in your books, doesn't matter which one, and I want you to determine the following information. I want you to put down who performs the process. Okay? I want you to put down who owns. By own, we mean oversee it, keep it into the process, and submit reviews and updated documentation. So who performs, who owns, and finally, what documentation is needed. All right? All right, take a 5-minute break, and when you come back, I want you to form up into groups of 4, and let's get started. I'll give you about 10 minutes at that point, and begin.